It was back to work yesterday for the Atlanta Falcons as they get ready to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Arthur Smith spoke to the media as he does on Wednesdays. Now, remember we talked last week, going into this week, talking about the players that were available to come off of IR. Guess who showed up at practice? Yeah, not just talking about the media. Guess who showed up at practice yesterday? Exactly what we said, Isaiah Oliver. So we talked last week. 4 guys that have been starters for the Atlanta Falcons: Deion Jones, Marlon Davidson, Jalen Mayfield, Isaiah Oliver. What did we say last week? I expected Oliver to be back at practice. I didn't expect the other 3 to be anywhere around. Now, what's interesting about Oliver, he may or may not get activated this week. Falcons have a few weeks because the way the rules are now, once he starts to practice, you've got, I think it's 3 or 4 weeks. Then you have to make sure he's on your 53 man or he goes on IR for the remainder of the season. He'll either play this week or next week at the latest. But I thought what was interesting about what Isaiah Oliver had to say yesterday as he spoke to the media, and I played some of these clips on my radio show last night, was he talked about the discussions that they had about his injury. And he said, well, kind of thought maybe I needed another week or 2 to get my body healthy and ready and come back and all that. And we discussed the idea of, okay, maybe we just go inactive for a week or 2 and then I'll come back. We thought that, in talking, why don't we just do the short-term IR, even though really I felt like last week I could come back. He made it very clear that the main discussion was going to be that he would stay inactive for a few weeks and then himself back in. And he said that he was healthy enough that he could have gotten back into action last week. I say that because, again, I laugh when I hear some of these things and I read some of the comments from people about all of this. All of this is calculated, folks. And Arthur Smith was asked one question about the guys on IR, and it was, well, we're evaluating them and player health is most important. Okay. He went the Tua route. Oh, yeah, player health is most important. Yeah, we most important is what is the health for the player, right? Didn't I hear that last Thursday about Tua? Oh, yeah, he's fine. Oh, yeah, he was sitting on the plane with me. We were watching MacGruber together. Okay, anyway, look, again, I'm going to explain this very simply. You can believe this or not believe this if you want. Number one is, why screw up a good thing? Okay? With all due respect to Deion Jones, Jalen Mayfield, Marlon Davidson, as much as those guys started last year and all the games that they played, with all due respect, none of those guys can come in and truly help this team for what they want to do. There's been nothing wrong with Taquan Graham. Would you replace Marlon Davidson? Would you pull Taquan Graham out, minimize his snaps just to put Marlon Davidson in there? You certainly wouldn't start Mayfield. He had already lost his job. And you don't need another backup guard. You have Gossett. You have, Elijah Wilkinson. And when you start crunching the numbers of what your actual on-field roster for a Sunday is going to be, Mayfield wouldn't even, probably be active anyway. You don't need 5 guards. I mean, you've got 2 guys that can handle the job. And Deion Jones, see Rashaan Evans, see what Michael Walker, you see how they want to play. Yeah, I get Deion's a good coverage linebacker, but he also hasn't been the same linebacker that he was 2-3 years ago. If they thought Deion Jones, who played that final game in the preseason, got a whole bunch of snaps, played over a quarter, ran around, wasn't limited, didn't get pulled off the field because he was hurt, he just showed up on IR the following week. They thought that he could truly do what they needed to do and come in and play, given what he's done in the league. Okay? He's not been some backup. He's not been some jamoke. He's a guy that's been a consistent starter and one of the cornerstones of this team. If you really believe that Dean Pease and Arthur Smith thought that Deion Jones was the best available answer to what they want to do, you don't think he'd be at practice this week? Now, understand things can change. Maybe next week it comes. But again, none of this is coincidence with how it happens. It's not coincidence that Oliver was the first guy out there to practice yesterday. It's not coincidence that we got no update on the other 3. that we got no sort of timeline. And I know what you nudniks are going to say. He doesn't have to update it. Nobody's saying he has to do anything. I can tell by what he says and doesn't say and who's on the field and not on the field. I can read the tea leaves. You put the tea leaves in front of me, I can read them. I can tell you exactly what it is. It's never been not calculated with how this was all going to go down. It's always been this kind of plan that's out there. Talk to enough insiders and you'll see. Talk to some of those people. It's not just happenstance coincidence. They like what Evans and Michael Walker bring at linebacker. There's not any real immediate rush to worry about getting Deion Jones back. And it gives him more time with the restructure and everything like that to see if somebody wants to be a trade partner. This is not just happening in a vacuum, folks. You know, when I told you that Oliver would be back on the practice field this week, it's not all happening in a vacuum. It's not just luck and throwing darts at a wall and hoping something sticks. Oliver's a guy who can come in. You know why it made more sense to go ahead and put Oliver on IR? Because D. Alford's played well. Had D. Alford not have played well through training camp and in the preseason, they wouldn't have put Oliver on IR. He told you that yesterday. He didn't tell you that they put me on IR because D. Alford played well. He told you that their discussions were, we may just go week to week on all of this. Well, they had another answer. D. Alford was another answer. Oh, you mean the guy who made the game-winning interception last week? That D. Alford? Yeah, that guy. They thought they could get away with, for 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever, D. Alford playing in that nickel. So he himself, go listen to what he said. You can find his presser that he did with the media yesterday. I got the clips. I played them last night on my show. He said it. We were going to do it week to week. I needed a couple more weeks. He didn't say, yeah, we thought IR was the best solution because I was still a ways away. No, he said, I could have come back last week. That was his words, not mine, his words. So everything about this is calculated when they do all of this stuff. It's not just happening in a vacuum. I'll say it again. I don't believe Deion Jones ever plays another down for the Atlanta Falcons defense. I don't think you're going to see him anymore. They'll find something for him, a bag of footballs, some orange cones, something that they'll trade for him. They're not going to get anything of real value. You know, we're not getting a top 10 quarterback, back from him. They're going to make a move on him, and what happens, happens. But it's not coincidence that neither one of those three guys, like I told you, wasn't on the practice field yesterday, and that Isaiah Oliver was. That he was the one guy out there because he can help the football team. He can come in and play a role and help them out now. They're not bad, with Taquan Graham and the way Grady's played up front. There's not really a reason to run him in there to muck it up. Jalen Mayfield, I don't know what. I mean, I think he's a practice squad player. And Deion, they like Evans. They like Michael Walker. They like those guys first and foremost. Oh, yeah, don't forget Troy Anderson is starting to get some runs at linebacker, too. He's starting to transition from special teams into playing some linebacker, right? Saw some of that early last week out there. They like what they've got. Folks, remember, none of this is happening in a vacuum. This is all calculated, and when we tell you some of those things, what I ask is you believe in it, because I'm not sitting here just bloviating for the sake of trying to go hot take. I'm telling you what's going to happen out there on the field. All right, I want to talk about my friends over at Built Bar. Listen, want you to go to Built.com. Love these folks. They just sent us another care package. Love these folks. Love when their packages show up. You want your low sugar, low carb, but high protein snacks, right? We've talked many times before about the protein-infused marshmallow puffs. If you head to Built.com today, you're going to find a wide, extensive menu of all different products, protein bars, marshmallow puffs, in all the different kinds of flavors. I've talked to you before about the s'more. I love that. But all of the new flavors, cookies and cream, all of that is available at Built.com. So I want you to head to Built.com today. When you get there, get that order put together. Put together your care package, okay? Get all of your high protein, low sugar, low carb snacks together. Get the order together. And when you get to checkout, use the promo code Locked On 15, LOCKEDON, the number 1, the number 5. Locked On 15, you get 15% off your order simply by using the promo code Locked On 15, LOCKEDON at checkout. Head to built.com today, check out their wide range of products, and get 15% off by using that coupon code Locked On 15.